Hello and a very warm welcome on ESPN Cricinfo Matchday T20. The final weekend of the group stage is upon us. A set of double headers coming up. The first of those on the Saturday. Brad Hogg is here with me, as is Ajit Agarkar, to build up to this one. Gujarat already out of the competition against Hyderabad. This is the second game in Kanpur. Welcome guys once again to build up to what should be a fun game, because there is plenty riding on this one. Just getting into our first match day match point before Ajit and Brad offer us some thoughts, and this is got to do with Siddharth Kaul, who's become a bit of a standout bowler for Hyderabad. Who would have thought that? And this is the reason, putting some numbers up for you to just munch on. Hyderabad have picked Siddharth Kaul, and he's done a great job in the last 5 matches in particular. Look at those numbers: average under 12, an economy of under 8. Ajit, there's not a lot of pace about him, but there's there's accuracy, and in a lineup that had so many fast bowling options, he's come good. 45 seconds.
Yeah, and he's come good at the right time. With Ashish Nehra being injured, they needed some Indian bowler to step up, because that's how their attack revolves. Anyone who gives under 8 runs and over in today's cricket, in T20 cricket, has got to be doing a good job and takes wickets. What I like about Siddharth Kaul, initially in his career he was a bit on the slower side. Yeah. He's a little bit more slippery now as a decent bouncer, but keeps things simple. The couple of balls that you do need in today's T20 cricket is a good Yorker and a decent slower ball, just to mix up the pace, which he does really well. I think the Yorkers served him well towards the end of the innings, and bowls a variety of slow balls, but keeps things simple, doesn't try and overdo things, which some of the bowlers around T20 cricket try and do, and that's why he's been successful.
I like the headband. That's like the Dennis Lillee kind of look almost there, going with the way he bowls. But he doesn't have Dennis Lillee's pace or anything of the kind. But you've again shown that pace is not everything. And the other thing was, Brad, this is a lineup full of fast bowlers. He wouldn't have even imagined he'd get a game. But he did. And as soon as he's got in, he's made the place his own.
Yeah, I think Bhuvneshwar has just dropped off the radar a little bit with his execution and the way that he's performed, and Kaul's really stepped up with Siraj as well. I think the younger crop have come through, taken the opportunity and done well, but Kaul has got a lot of confidence as well. And Ajit was talking about his slower ball, his Yorker. The thing that he does, he bowls it to the field as well. He executes it so that if the batsman gets a little opportunity to get it on the full or get the half volley, the batsman can't get under him, can't hit him out of the park, but the batsman's got to hit him to the fielders out in the deep. So it's very clever bowling, and for a young fella, I'm wrapped with the brain that he's got on his shoulders.
Yes, he has been around the circuit for a while, has Siddharth Kaul. So good job for him, and he's got to continue that as Hyderabad look to secure that final spot in the playoffs. This is another point that we need to talk about. Match point number 2 now coming up from this game, and it is about their untested lower order. We'll try and establish that as well for Hyderabad. Of course, very strong top order, but the lower order, because perhaps they haven't had the opportunity to contribute, they've played the least number of balls per innings. This is batsman number 6 and below, and the percentage of runs from a team perspective is also the lowest of all teams. Now, Ajit, that I guess tells you one very simple thing, that the top order is largely doing the job for you. However, as a management, do you worry a little bit that given if we are in a situation where we need service out of these guys, we may not get that 45 seconds?
They've had a few decent innings from some of their lower order guys, Henriques bats at 3 at times or 4, yeah, and he's had a couple of decent innings. Yuvi's had a couple of innings. But yeah, they are over-reliant, and that's why through the middle of the tournament they went back to Kane Williamson, because their batting, they weren't confident. When their top order fails, then there's too much pressure on that lower middle order. It can be a little bit of a worry at the moment. The top order's firing. Shikhar Dhawan's actually hit some good form, yes, at the right time, which helps. I just feel, I mean, if they are going to play Kane Williamson, they should get Ben Cutting in instead of Henriques, because that bowling option could be critical there, because Kane Williamson will bat at number 3 and do the job. As long as your top order isn't fire, there are not too many games left. They'll hope that happens.
Brad?
Yeah, I'd like to see OJ bat at 6. I think that gives them great depth. They are going to rely on Darwin, Warner, Williamson out the top. Williamson's got to come back in just to provide that security. Yuvraj, Henriques or Cutting coming in out 5. I think they've got to go with the extra bowler by Paul Sharma if they're going to play the overseas Australian all-rounder, whether it's Cutting or Henriques. I just think they've got enough batting there. If those guys don't fire in one of the finals games, well, they're going to lose it anyway. If they're relying on their number 7 and 8 to get them runs, they're in a lot of trouble. Their bowling is their strength as well. They've got good a defensive attack that can defend any total when in trouble. So I'd just like to go by Paul Sharma out 7 and 8, just give them a little bit of extra option with the ball.
All right, so let's see if Hyderabad can keep this or can get points on the board against Gujarat, who have been one of the disappointments. That's a 4 p.m. start in Kanpur. Right, so an 8 p.m. start, 2 powerhouses, 2-time champions, both of these teams looking for that final set of points. Mumbai are on 18 points. They are at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata. Kolkata on 16, so they want that final win as well. That can give them the extra points that are needed. Let's look at our first match point, and this is a tactic that Kolkata have tried, and it hasn't quite worked for them because Gautam Gambhir hasn't come off in any other position other than as opener. He's given up that slot. We'll just quickly establish that because Narine and Lin have been taking up the responsibility against the new ball. And look at how he went. Didn't really come off against Bangalore and then against Punjab as well. Right, Brad, you get 45 seconds to explain to me. Obviously, there is some thinking there about making the most against the new ball. But should Gambhir now give up this tactic given he seems to be able to bat only in that one position?
No, I think that Gambhir should be batting out 3 and come in this, the first 3 overs if a wicket falls or if Narine gets out. And if Narine and Lin bat into the 6th over, then change the order, bring in Pathan against the spin or even Udaipur first, then Pathan. I think that Narine and Lin are exactly what Kolkata need out the top. Get them off to a flying start. Narine is not as effective down at the bottom end of the innings. You've got to utilise him up the top because they don't have an Andre Russell down out the bottom where they can make up the runs. So they want to make sure they get in front of the game out the top and then try and get the batters in that middle order to stand up and try and put a formidable total on the board.
Yes, it's quite a brave tactic in a sense, almost, or for a captain to give up a position in which he's made virtually all his runs in IPL cricket, virtually all his entire career he's played in that position. Is it simply because of what that sort of explosive benefit they get out of Narine and Lin at the top, or should Gambhir reconsider this, Ajit, 45 for you?
Well, I mean, Lin's got to open for sure.
Yeah.
There's no doubt, 2 ways about that. Narine, I wasn't quite sure when he started opening, but he's been a success. And that's put Gambhir in a tough place because that's the position he enjoys batting. I don't think there's too much to change. I don't think Gautam can bat lower than number 3 though.
Yes.
And you know, if I agree with what Brad said as well, if the wicket falls early, then he comes in. If not, they've got probably better options to come in at number 3. And unfortunately, Gautam then sort of drops down the order because they have a lot more explosive batters after the first few overs. It's a tough place. It's not a bad problem to have for a captain. But at the moment, I don't see any reason why they can't continue with Narine and Lin.
Yes,
well, the thing is, as captain, you've got to sacrifice yourself at some stage. You look at Rohit Sharma, what he's done with Mumbai. He could have easily brought himself up the top when he wasn't in form. He stayed out number 4 because that was the best suited position for him for the balance of the team, and he's come off. So, Goodham, take an example.
Yes, it has been a gamble for Gautam Gambhir, but it has come off handsomely when it has with Sunil Narine at the top. Well, let's move quickly along. Match point 2 on the program. And the other night, Mitch McClenaghan went for 54 in his 4, but then you didn't want to be a bowler at the Wankhede that night anyway. He has done a job though for the Mumbai Indians, and we'll establish that at Kolkata. Will he get better conditions to keep doing this service? In the power plays, an economy rate of under 8. In the death overs, his average is quite low, although he's gone for a few runs. Let's ask the Aussie about the Kiwi. McClenaghan is actually in a lineup which they also have the option of Mitchell Johnson, but they like him, and there's a reason for that, that McClenaghan does a job for them.
Well, That isn't bad economy rates in the power play and the death overs.
And these are tough overs to bowl in.
Yeah, they're very impressive. And the thing that McClanagan does is he offers a point of difference. If the wicket's flat, if it's not swinging, if it's not seaming, if it's not spinning, he wants to be attacking. He wants to be aggressive out the player. He wants to move the game forward. He wants to get wickets. He wants to be in the batsman's face. And if you get wickets, you're going to slow the run rate down. And you need an attacking bowler like that in your team. They've got plenty of options. They've got 6 or 7 options that they can utilise, Mumbai, through within their team. So if he doesn't come off one night, they're able to get a couple of overs out of other players.
Yes, they do have the options, Ajit, of the likes of Mitchell Johnson. Also, I think Tim Southee available to them. Lasith Malinga looked a little bit out flat in the last game, but then everyone went for runs in that one. Would you consider giving Malinga a bit of a break and allow someone else to share the new ball with McClanahan?
Not anymore. I mean, when there's a game where there's 230 being almost chased, you know what sort of pitch. And Wankhede is a tough place to bowl. Most bowlers, yeah, I mean, Malinga, most of his career didn't go for a lot of runs, even at Wankhede. But it's a tough place to bowl. So you are bound to have bad games as bowlers. These two have done well for them. I mean, yeah, you've got Southee and Johnson, both really top bowlers sitting out. But at this stage of the tournament, you want to keep your tried and tested combinations. And at Mumbai particularly don't like to do too many changes. And I don't see why they should at this point. They need that one victory to secure their top 2 spot. And they've got a good enough team, and these two guys are wicket takers. You want wicket takers, especially playing against a team like KKR. You want to take wickets.
Yes, and also McClanahan can do a job as pinch hitter if you like. Sometimes he's been tried in that role. Funny things have happened already. If Narine can open, then McClanahan can bat in the top 2 or 3.
I think they'll be struggling if they're going to get McClanagan up to do the pinch hitting. I think they've got enough batting.
Thank you so much to the guys for setting up. This is a mouth-watering clash at the Eden Gardens. Let's see what we get. There's so much at stake. It's an 8 p.m. start.